Hey guys, what's up? It's Anna. Today the topic I'm covering is when someone comes out to you, whether they're friends or family or a coworker, anybody you know, anybody you meet. You know, just a few do's and don'ts of reacting to coming out. This is a little weird because obviously you can't plan when someone's gonna come out to you, but I'm sure in your lifetime you'll have experiences where people will come out, even if it's not a serious situation where they sit you down and talk to you. It may be casually at work when they mention it, stuff like that. I can guarantee that you have met many LGBT people in your life, even if they're not friends or family. You've probably worked with many. If you think that you haven't met anyone that's LGBT, they're probably closeted or they just haven't mentioned it to you. I made kind of like a little list here. It's not fully, I wouldn't say it's like 5 things or whatever, but these are just some of the things that I think are important when someone's coming out to you. My first one that I put down is listen. Do not interrupt them. When someone plans to come out to you, it is absolutely terrifying. I'll tell you that. They probably thought about it, talked about it, worried about it for weeks, months, years, because, you know, they might not know how you or others may react. So just remember that when someone comes out to you, it's a very important and weighty thing, and you need to be ready to make them feel comfortable and reassure them that things aren't going to change. So my first point would be to listen. A lot of times people will just, you know, they'll build up and then they'll be like, you know, I'm gay, I'm trans, I'm whatever they are. It's important just to let them finish their point just in case they have more to say after they say it. But, you know, obviously they'll probably look to you for reaction. If you're happy about it, be happy about it and show that. My main thing would be to say is there are certain things to not say that a lot of people do say. There are things like, oh, I don't judge, and it's kind of like, I wasn't asking if you judge me, I was just like letting you know. I was just letting you know who I am. People, you know, saying I still love you, that kind of implies that there's a but, or like not a but, that there's conditions that you love them. Saying things like, I know that, or I always knew, or I knew it, like stuff like that. Unless you're really close to the person and you know that they'll find that funny, I'd steer clear of the, oh, I always knew, because they put a lot, oh, my battery's dying. I'm sure this person has put a lot of work into, like, a lot of worry and work into thinking about coming out to you, and you going, oh, I know, just kind of makes them feel like they worried for no reason, and that you've always known. They might not even want you to know. So it's just better to hold off until they'll probably ask you maybe down the line, like, oh, did you always know? And then you could be like, yeah, like, I had a feeling. The most important thing to remember when someone is coming out to you, that you need to not make it about yourself. A lot of people do that. Their instance is they'll tell you their beliefs on the situation, you know, oh, well, I believe this. I once had someone very close to me tell me that there'll come a time when they can't support me as like their friend, or like there'll come a time where they can't come to my wedding. I was like 16 and terrified talking to a close friend, and they told me this, and it was just very upsetting and terrifying, and it was bad timing. It was very hard because it was one of the first people that I came out to, and they, you know, made me feel very scared for the future because that was one of my close friends. So it's important not to start with yourself and your beliefs or your worries or your thoughts about it, and start with love. Start with how you feel about the person. Even if you're not accepting to them and what they're telling you, it's still important that if you love them, start with, I love you. Like, you know, I came out to one of my sisters and she said, you're my sister, I love you. That's what she started with. She didn't start with, oh, I don't agree with this, or oh, I don't do this. Like, just bringing up her own stuff. She started with, you're my sister and I love you. Like, that's the first thing I'm going to start with. And that, I'll never forget that. And that was such an amazing moment for me that I really appreciated that that was the first thing that she told me. and that made everything else okay. If they have more to say, make sure you listen after you say, you know, you love them, and like, it's important to thank them for telling you, because odds are they probably like worried for hours, days, weeks, years over this moment. So make sure you thank you for telling me, thank you for revealing this part of yourself to me. That's really important, and that takes a lot of guts. And if you have questions, it's okay to ask questions. You might want to start off with, you know, am I able to ask questions about this? Like, you know, you could ask things like, how did you know? How did you find out? Just from a way of curiosity. And when you're done with the conversation, it's sometimes important just to continue a different conversation. Obviously, this isn't easier said than done. You can't just like magically be like, oh, so how's the weather? But you know, if the conversation starts to steer clear of what they're coming out to you about, don't be afraid to just continue and be happy and bubbly and show them that what you say is true, that you still love them, that you still appreciate them. You know, talk to them. If the conversation starts to turn, you could even talk to them about people they're attracted to. If they're the type of person that's willing to, you know, disclose that to you. Obviously, you know the person. If they're family or friends and you know that they would love to talk about all the boys that they have been crushing on, you know, you could make a joke about that. But I would steer clear unless you know for sure that the person's not going to react badly. It's better just, you know, if the subject somehow changes, or maybe something happens, or you get a text, or you want to show them a meme, like just keep a conversation going with them, but a different conversation, not about them being gay. Like keep it to something else. You know, my sisters and I, when I came out to each of them, I'm pretty sure we had other conversations, or we had other things we did. So we didn't just say, okay, thanks, and then I left and I worried about what if they didn't really love me or something. You know, we had a good conversation after, so I knew, wow, things are the same. I can be myself and have my sister love me and have that relationship with her. This is amazing. It's important to show and not just use your words, like show them how you feel. Some of my tips are definitely to stay light and fluffy, stay happy. Don't be like, oh my God, you're gay. Like, don't freak out, but be like, thank you so much for telling me. Like, I appreciate that. I love you so much. And, you know, that's all that matters. I know a lot of people will wonder why I am talking about people that aren't accepting, like it's okay, and that I'm giving them the time of day. Here's the thing, I have people in my family that are not accepting. I can get past our differences and love them because they can get past their differences and love me. I understand from having a religious background that people that are religious and homophobic or just not accepting of the LGBT community, they're not the people close to me, at least. Not everyone, obviously there's people that are hateful, but the people close to me and most people aren't hateful. They're just scared because in their belief they think that, you know, if you go away from the path that they think is right, then your life is in danger. And that's terrifying to them because they love you. What I'm saying is, even if you don't fully agree with the LGBT community, you know, it's still helpful to follow this, like, you know, these tips of like being positive and smiling and not saying certain things and just starting with love before you start with what you believe. Just the bottom line is, it's important that the person that came out to you feels comfortable and that they come out being happy they told you. You don't want them to regret that they told you and feel bad about themselves, because deep down, whether you like it or not, this is part of them and it's not going to change from your negative point of view. So it's important just to start with love. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that helped you out. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them down below and I'll either reply to them, or if I get enough, I'll make a video about it. And don't forget to subscribe, and if you are already a subscriber, don't forget to hit that bell so you know exactly when I upload. I also wouldn't recommend talking to someone about, oh, I've always wanted a gay best friend or something. That's gross.